So Dave Pietramala joins us now to talk about this event. And Coach, it's a unique time for everybody across the lacrosse world, but I especially talk about these high school kids. And this event is talking about the high school sophomore class. What stands out about the opportunity at this event, considering kind of the strange situation this class has been in with everything going on?
Well, you're exactly right. We are in uncharted waters and really uncertain and maybe more importantly, uncomfortable times. And, for these high school kids in this 2023 class, along with all of them, quite honestly, it's been a real challenge. They've lost last year's season. So for this group, the 2023s, they basically lost their freshman season, don't really know what's going to happen with their sophomore year. So, we're excited to be able to provide an opportunity for these kids to, number one, just get out and play. We think it's healthy from a physical and emotional standpoint. And get out and compete and measure themselves against, other quality players that are in their class.
And speaking of quality, there are a few events that put together the quality of coaching that you guys have down at IMG Academy this weekend. Talk about what that opportunity means for these kids.
Well, the goal was to put together an event where we could create an environment that was kind of like a college environment, create a college atmosphere, so to speak, and a college type practice. And the best way to do that is to have guys that have done that and have done it at a very successful and a very high level. So, we're thrilled with guys like Coach Don Zimmerman, who was my college coach, Richie Mead, who's a Team USA and Naval Academy coach, Rick Soul, who's been at Dartmouth, Stony Brook, and Navy. You've just got a host of coaches, my former staff. And you've got guys that have achieved at the highest level of Division I and quite frankly, international play. What a great chance for these young guys to get out, learn what it really means to compete. But the other thing we wanted to create was an environment where they were taught, and all these guys, throughout their career have invested in coaching. And when you invest in coaching, you invest in teaching young men and young people. And I'm really excited that these guys are the kind of guys that are going to get out there. They're not going to just go through the motions. They are going to take the time to actually coach the intricacies of the game in drills. And then when we get in a competitive game environment, they're going to coach it just like a game, with a desire to win and hopefully help these young men understand what it takes to succeed at the next level and get a little taste of it.
You talk about getting a little taste of the college environment, and you've seen enough high school kids then turn to college players, and that transition for some guys can be really easy, for other guys can be tough, and I think for just about for everybody, it is a big transition. How important is it for an event like this to get quality coaching and to be in an environment where you're surrounded by all players that are probably up to your type of level and great talent, for them to get it at this age, knowing what they're going to be up against as they all hope to try to play at the next level?
Well, that's a good description on your part of exactly what the event is and intended to do. And you're exactly right. The transition between high school and college, for some and for those that are really talented, it is seamless. But for most, it's not. Being able to balance practice and academics and the intensity of lacrosse at that level is no joke, and it's more challenging than I think most realize. And I think what we're trying to do is we certainly can't create the academic or social component, but what we can do is create a scenario where these young guys get challenged. They get challenged not just by their peers and other talented players, but they get challenged by the coaches that they're working with. And the hope is that the environment that we've created will help them have a better understanding of what to expect when they get to the next level. And I believe, quite frankly, most young men are taken aback by just how much time and how intense and how all-encompassing college lacrosse is. So this is just, again, a very small taste of it, but a chance for them to see if they can thrive in that kind of environment.
So speaking of college lacrosse, while we have you, I am interested in your perspective with the pandemic and everything we see across the fall. And I know you talk to plenty of coaches that are getting ready or trying to get their teams ready for a spring. Where are you at in terms of, do we see a college lacrosse season this spring, and what's it look like?
Well, I'm certainly in the camp of all the college coaches, which is I hope there is one. I think these young men deserve one. I think it's unhealthy to not have athletics. I don't think it's great emotionally. We continue to hear about emotional problems that young people are having dealing with these challenges, and for the coaches, I feel for them. They're not coaching their team as much as they're coaching against COVID, which is an opponent that you can't scout, that changes daily. It's a fluid situation. So my hope is that they do have some version of a season. I can't imagine it will be a version that we're accustomed to. I could see a lot of conferences just playing in conference or doubling up and do a home and home, and maybe one or two outside competitions. I think a lot will be up to the conferences themselves, and they're going to want to make sure that the teams they play, have in place the same testing protocol and procedures as they do. But I do believe we'll have a college season. I do believe it will be very good for the young men, the coaches, and for the fans. But I just don't think it's going to be the kind of season that we're all accustomed to.
With the schedule, obviously, it just seems almost crazy that normally we're like 2 months away from talking about real college lacrosse games, and now we don't even know when that first game is going to be played. Is there a time frame, do you think, is later than this time? And like with college basketball, we're seeing on Tuesday these two teams are deciding, hey, on Thursday we're both around the same area, let's play Thursday. Like, is that something we're going to see in college lacrosse?
Well, probably so. It is a fluid situation that no one can control. And, I think football and basketball have really kind of paved the way for the college lacrosse game. It's given coaches and administrators and universities an opportunity to see what works, what doesn't work, to maybe be a little more thoughtful about scheduling and how you do it. I think the key is the word adjust. I think everybody's going to have to be able to adjust on the fly here. But I do believe that, football getting a season in and basketball now getting a season in is to our benefit or to our sports benefit. We can learn from maybe some of the mistakes that they made, learn to maybe be a bit more patient and not force things, maybe leave a bye week in between some games so that if there is a cancellation, you could possibly make it up. But again, I do hope that and believe they'll be able to get a season, and I just don't think it's going to look like anything that we're accustomed to. But having something in my mind is a blessing compared to having nothing.
Well, thanks to you guys. We got some live lacrosse here on LSN this weekend. We're thankful for that. Dave, we appreciate the time as always, and good luck with everything throughout the weekend in Florida.
Yeah, thanks so much for helping us promote the event and for having me on.